You love our patriotic patterns so much
that we've created a whole book full of great patriotic patterns just for you.
Keep watching. Hi, it's Fran Morgan.
And Donna Robertson with Fabric Café.
And we have our brand new book, Make It Patriotic with 3-Yard Quilts.
We're so excited about this. We had so much fun. I know how our number 1 and number 2 patterns for last year were both the patriotic.
Yes.
And so we decided to do a whole book for you, and I'm so excited.
I am too. So let's jump in and look at our very first quilt in the book. Now this one is a Liberty, and is this not great? I just think it's fabulous. So we have just all of these really large stars, and what's really cool about this is even though it's very patriotic, it's done with a red, white, and blue, and there's some floral on here, which I love. Now we have the kit for this, so let's put it on the table and check that out.
You know, I have to confess, Fran, that this might just be my favorite quilt in this book. I love this quilt.
You know, it's so funny too, because when you're designing quilts, sometimes you get all excited and you do one and then you start working with it and you start to write the pattern and it doesn't work. And
oh yeah,
you've been there. So, you know, you design 10 quilts for every one that makes it to print.
Yes.
Well, what's really interesting is I had designed a quilt and I knew that it was going to work, and then it got down to the end and it didn't. So I designed this on the fly. Like I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it was fabulous.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just have to let it go. So this is one of those. All right, so I love it. And I love the fact that we have this fun floral, very patriotic, but you know, there's a lot of ladies in the military today and working in those capacities, and I think it's great. And just a lot of ladies that love Americana.
I tell you, that's true.
Yeah, so this is great for them. So our number 1 fabric is this red, and it's going to go in the center of our star here, as well as on the border and binding. And then we have our number 2, which is the star, and they're red, white, and blue stars. I love it. Our red and blue stars on white.
Yeah.
And it goes all in the background here. Now this is important to have that contrast so you really see this star pop off. And then we have our blue, which is fun, so much fun. And that is what creates that star. So, and then a little bit on the border.
You know, we're always talking about movement in a quilt, and this one mimics the look of an exploding firework.
It does.
Yeah.
Good idea. Good
You know, when
point.
you're watching those fireworks and they go and they go everywhere. It's like that one is doing that.
Definitely. I also think it's a little grounded in tradition, which I really like.
Yes.
Really, really like. Okay, so the kit information on this one. The number is 8023173. It is called Lady Liberty, and the pattern is Liberty from the Make It Patriotic book. Now, the alternate pattern that we're offering on this one is Freedom.
Now, the next one is Celebrations. And, you know, nothing throws me back into my childhood like a pinwheel or like you're playing with those little twirly things. And I just love the way that this block turned out. So we're going to put this one on the table and talk about this one and the fabric.
Yes, it's
and
fun.
if you will turn to that page, Fran, in the book for me, that would be
Yes.
great. So the number 1 fabric is that super simple thing called a square. So you just make a square like this, and then we're going to border it with just a small white border to blend in and give separation between this block and this block. And that really does help it not just be sitting on top of it. So I like doing that. But I wanted to show you that in the book, remember, we do incredible steps on how to put the quilt together. We show you how to make all of those pieces and parts and put them together. And we are showing you lap quilts, but you're going to get a lap, a twin, and a king-queen instructions for every one of these patterns.
Yes.
So it's a great deal. Now, the number 2 fabric is this fun white dot.
I like this dot. It's
I do
different.
too. It's fun. I like it very, very much. And that's going to be your background, so it keeps that contrasty lighter color from being boring. We put a little bit of interest in there. And then the number 3 fabric is this beautiful mottled red, just
bright and cheerful.
absolutely. And so that will make the the look of this spinning around with those colors together.
Now, we've used a lot of half square triangles in this to create all those great stars and designs. And we actually have a half square triangle tutorial, so be sure and check that out. And it's really helpful, and it shows how easy they are to put together.
I'd like to ask our customers a question. How long did it take you to make your first half square triangle? You know, it didn't take me long.
No.
I didn't know I was supposed to be afraid.
You're not supposed to be afraid.
That's right. And this video friend's telling you about, it just makes it so simple and easy.
It really does.
Now this quilt kit is called Skyburst 8023169. The pattern is Celebrations. It's from our brand new book, Make It Patriotic. And an alternate pattern is Friendship Star.
So our next pattern is Jubilee. Now, I like this one because talk about movement. This has got all these stars spinning and going, and the quilting on this one just adds to that movement, and I just love it. It's gorgeous, it's fun, made with beautiful bright red, white, and blues. Let's put it on the table and check out that kit.
I love all these fabrics in the red, white, and blue and all the different shades and everything.
Yes, and okay, so I want to say this because, you know, I'm the fabric crazy girl.
We're going to get you a new sign, Fabric's Crazy Girl.
Crazy fabric lady, okay. You know, we were choosing fabrics for these, and sometimes we are doing books off season, so patriotic fabrics were not something that were available really readily when we were making these quilts.
Well, all the snow was on the ground.
Yes. But if you'll notice some of our choices, and they are very patriotic, we're just using florals in red and blue, and in this case we have these great models in the red and blue. So you can really twist your fabrics and just choose the colors and really make them perfect. And I think these are some good examples of that.
And that's a good little segue into the fact that every one of these could be made with any 3 one-yard cuts, and you don't have to make patriotic. If you fall in love with one of these patterns, you can make it out of flowers or...
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
this would be fun for Christmas too. You could make it in red, white, and green. That would be great. So,
yeah.
so many different options there. So for our number one fabric here, we have this great mottled red and blue with all these like water spots on it. That is going to go everywhere here and in our, let's go way down here. We've got pinwheels and our big block here and some border here kind of scattered throughout. And then our number 2 fabric. Now, the number 2 fabric, this is one of my favorite number 2 fabric prints because it has that swirl. It's kind of like wind or something like that.
Absolutely.
That is going to go in our pinwheels and all of our blocks here in the border. Nice. And then we have this gorgeous red. It's just so rich. You can see it's going to blend really well with our number 1 and nice contrast with our number 2. Goes in the big block here, a little on the border. Pinwheels, just scattered all throughout. It's just so fun.
You know, one of the things I like about the way you design, because Fran and I really do design differently, but the thing that I really like is the fact that you make these blocks and you put them together, and it's sometimes kind of difficult to see where one block starts and the other one ends, and it adds dynamic interest to the quilts. And if you'd like to see how this one's made up, be sure to watch the video on Thursday when we're going to have a tutorial.
We have lots of pieces and parts for that too, so you're not going to want to miss that.
All right.
All right. So the kit information on this one, kit is named Show Your Colors. The number is 8023172. The pattern is called Jubilee from the Make It Patriotic book, and we're suggesting It's a Breeze as its alternate.
Now this one is called Waves. And when I designed this one, I was trying to get that look. You know how you have the flag waving in the air? And whenever I designed this one, I thought, well, I'm going to call this one Waves, and we're going to use our imagination and see a flag waving in the wind. And I wanted to give it a little bit more, it's sort of an Americana, more of a subdued colored fabric that we put in here. Let's put this one on the table and look at the block. On this one, like Fran was just saying, we chose the coloration to give you the look of the patriotic,
Yes.
but it was not really intended as a patriotic fabric.
That's true. And I like this fabric too because the way this one has that kind of antiqued look, it kind of looks like an old worn, it's not, but I mean, it kind of gives that old feel.
A well-loved.
Yes.
Yes, a
Or
well-loved.
vintage feel. I want to say that correctly.
Now, one more thing about this fabric that's pretty cool is it is a ombre. So it's going to go from dark to light, and you're going to see that. I'm going to open this up just real quick, like so you can see how it's really dark back here, but then on the other side it's light. Ooh. And that is going to make a gorgeous quilt. I will point that out whenever we're cutting this. It's just really a nice addition to your quilts to add more interest.
Yes, because it actually makes it look like you've used more fabric than just 3 1-yard cuts.
Yeah, lots and lots of, and it kind of looks like that wavy flag.
Oh, it does.
Some of them are in the shadows and some are in the sunlight.
So fun.
So you can see that over here where we've used the number 1. See how there's some of the pieces are really dark and then they go light? Yeah. And it just falls that way when you're cutting and making your blocks. It's not like you have to think about it. It just goes together that way.
It's beautiful.
So if you'll hand me the cropping tool, I will crop this block out so that they can see how super easy it is to do.
This is an easy one. This is a good one.
It's like, oh my goodness, that it looks like it's going to be, really give you
challenging.
A challenge, yeah.
And it's not.
But it's not. It's super simple. You're going to make sort of like a 4-patch. Because you've got a square here, you've got a square here, and then you make half square triangles, and you've got that block here. So you've got 4 blocks, 2 of them are half square triangles, and 2 of them are just plain blocks.
That's easy.
And then you twist and turn them, and we show you exactly how to do that with a layout
and
diagram.
Create the wave.
Yes. Okay, the number 2 fabric, as Fran was saying, gives it a little bit of that weathered, well-loved kind of a patina.
It's beautiful fabric.
And that's going to go here and here. And then the number 3, this beautiful royal blue. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
And that's going to go in your number 3 spot. And this one is called Grand Old Flag. The name of the pattern is Waves. The kit number is 8023176. It's from the book Make It Patriotic. And an alternate pattern is Old Glory.
Now our next quilt is United. And one of the things that I know Mom and I really love to do in our books is to make sure that we have at least one pattern in the book that has a nice big square and a nice area to really feature some special fabric. And United is a great one for that. So let's put it on the table and check out the fabric. Now this is gorgeous fabric. And this is one we were able to find whenever there was snow on the ground. So, and I loved it and that's the reason why I wanted to really feature it in this big blog, because I really think it's gorgeous.
It is very pretty.
Absolutely gorgeous. So we have all these nice florals, and they're kind of in the soft reds, kind of going towards pink. And then we have our nice flag here that pops off the fabric. You can really see it. That's in our big block as well as our little joining blocks here. And then our number 2 is that nice kind of an ecru color that picks up the background of our number 1. That will be in our sashing here. And then our fun stripe. And I love this stripe because it picks up the blue and the flags, which I really think gives us a nice pop here on our border. And I love putting stripes on my border.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that is so much fun.
Well, we're giving them instructions for a lap, a twin, and a king-queen. And some people will say, well, is there anything in between? And so we wanted to let you know that all of these fabrics are available by the yard on our website. So if you want to add a border or something like that, it's really easy to do. So check that out as well.
Love that. It's really great. And it's also great for those Quilts of Valor quilts.
Oh, yes.
If you're going to donate for that. Okay, the information on this kit, it is called Betsy's Porch. The number is 8023174. The pattern is United from our brand new Make It Patriotic book, and our alternate pattern suggestion is Sugar Pie.
Now this one's called Fireworks, and I don't know about you, but I can remember my very first fireworks when I was a little bitty girl were the firecrackers, and my brothers would always scare the daylights out of me for firecrackers. But now that I'm a little bit older, just a little bit, I am no longer afraid of firecrackers, and I made a quilt that looked like firecrackers. Let's put that on the table. This was fun to do.
It is so cute.
Sometimes whenever you're designing, you're kind of like, you get this idea, and then you try to figure out exactly how to make it come about. So it was a lot of fun to do, and I think this would be a good one for me to crop as well,
yeah,
if
let's
you will
do.
give me the cropping tool. So you can actually see the way this goes together. You actually have a little block here that you make first. See that? And then you're going to add the remainder of it in a lip. I went too far. You're going to have another piece like this.
Perfect.
And then that kind of joins with this one, so it gives you the overall creation of the firecracker.
I love it.
Isn't
It's
that
so much fun,
fun?
and it's a whole lot safer than those other fireworks.
Oh yes, yes. that was not a good thing for children to. Oh, I can remember a fireworks story, but I won't tell that one. Yeah, I will tell you. Fran and John got in trouble because my rule was you do not play with fireworks unless I'm around.
And of course, being the rambunctious children that we were.
Well, anyway. They got found out, and
we're all safe and lived through.
That's right, they did, but I was not a happy mother.
Okay, this is a perfectly safe firework.
Let's just change the subject, huh?
Please.
No one gets burned in the making of this. Okay, here's our number one fabric. It's this great grunge fabric. It's going to go in the number one spot, and you might look at it and say, well, you always say put the darkest in the third spot, but what we really do tell you is you pick your number one focus fabric first, and it's going to go in the biggest area. Then you compare 2 and 3, and you get your darkest and your lightest. So the light one is the number 2 place, and you can always put any fabric in any position as long as you cut the way we tell you to cut each position. So it's super simple. So this is our number 2. It's going to go in the background, which becomes that background so you can actually see the design we intended to show. And then the third one is this, and doesn't it kind of give you that little sparkle on top too?
It does. It kind of looks like a sparkler.
Yeah. So I think that one's really cute.
Yeah, very fun.
Now this one is called Star Spangled 8023170, and it's Star Spangled. Fireworks is the pattern from Make It Patriotic, and a replacement pattern would be Courage.
So our next new pattern is Independence, and I think this one kind of makes me think of those summer fairs that are going on, because it kind of helped me visualize, like, you know, those banners that they hang out and things like that. It kind of looked like that, I thought, and it kind of has that nice hometown feel to it. So let's put it on the table, check out the fabric.
This is another one of those fabrics that could be patriotic, or it could go in some other kind of quilt. So that's cool.
I love it in a patriotic quilt.
I love it.
I tell you what, before we get too far into the fabric, let's get the cropping tool on this one.
Okay.
Because this is another really simple one that you probably, when you first look at it, you go, whoa, what's going on there? How am I going to do that? But this one is so easy. So what we have here, I'm going to block out our first block, or one of our blocks, I guess. And what we have here is we have a half square triangle, and then we just border it, and then border it, and border it, and border it. And that's all it is. They're just strips. It's going to go really fast.
Wow.
And then you're going to make that again, change it up the colors just a little bit. We're going to move this over, and you'll see that this time we have used our red for a half square triangle, and then our borders are in a little bit different order for the colors. Very simple. Put them together, rotate them around, and when you put them together, it creates this really cool red, white, and blue pinwheel in the middle, which I like.
I love that. I love the fact that playing with color gives you so much dynamic movement.
Yes, it really does, and the placement of that color is really important. That's the reason why I think our fabric strategy of the 1, 2, 3 focus, light, dark, is perfect, because we know exactly how you can successfully place the colors every single time. And it works every single time.
That's right. Even if you break the rules, which we've talked about every once in a while,
Yes.
and moving it around.
Yeah, and, you know, we like to do that too. Okay, so in this case, our number one fabric is the red, and it's really great. Love this little print. Like I said, it feels very homey and hometownish. And of course, that goes in each of the blocks on the borders and on every other block in the pinwheel. And then our background, and this is fun. This is kind of a repeated print, but look at all these different colors in here. I liked that. I liked picking up all those little extras.
Yeah.
And this goes in every single block in our half square triangles on our border. And then the number 3 is our nice dark blue, and it's just fun. I just
It kind of looks like little stars too.
It does.
Or sparkles.
So of course it goes in our border on every other block as well as our half square triangles. We got a little on the binding here too, just to frame it really nice. So I thought this turned out so well, and I do think it looks very just comforting.
Yes, I like it very much too.
So our kit information on this, the number is 8023171. It is called Sweet Americana. The name of the pattern is Independence from the Make It Patriotic book, and the alternate that we're suggesting is Corner Play.
Now the next quilt we're going to do is Valor, and again, I had fun designing this one, and I really liked using this as our lightest fabric because it still gives you that high contrast, but it kind of ties it together and has a little interest with it. Let's put this up on the table and talk about this pattern.
Now, I love the way you placed the fabric in this quilt.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's very intriguing.
Well, it's another one that's just really not hard to do at all. You know, it's amazing how you can make such a simple block and put it together, and voila, you've got a great quilt.
Absolutely.
Do we want to crop this one out, Fran?
Yeah, let's grab it.
Okay, so we'll talk about this block here because it is another one that you look at it and you go, okay, how'd you do that? Because there's no seams in this.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let's show you how this is cropped out. We're going to make a little piece like this. You've got a little square down here. Now, how many of you can make the square? Those are pretty simple, aren't they? You've got another little piece right here that we strip pieced and then cut a little unit that goes in there. And then we followed up with one more square. Let me find my seam allowance. Oh, whoops, I cropped that wrong, sorry. There's your strip piece. It's got
Very
3
simple.
pieces.
Very
Yeah.
simple.
And then you've got your other square. I knew I was looking for another square. Okay, so there's your other square. So when you get through, you've got this great piece here. This is sort of like, this quilt is sort of like a rail fence that you've patched, you know, because you had to make a piece first. But isn't that cool?
It is
Because
very
then you've
cool.
got another one over here. Now this one is this piece turned. See that?
Yeah.
So you've got your strip piece here with your square and another strip piece.
That's great.
And then you repeat over here. So it is just fun the way that one's
it.
pieced together.
It really is. And I like the print in the background because it gives it so much depth.
Yes. I was really excited about that because sometimes whenever you're designing and you know you need that light, trying to find something that would work and not be boring.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
And whenever I saw this blue fabric, I got so excited. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Okay, so we've got our red fabric here. That's our number 1. It's going to go in the center here. And if you do have a fabric that is a patriotic print, you could very easily put that here. It's going to be a little bit here and some here, so that would look really cute. It would showcase that a little bit.
I think so too.
Okay, and here's that great number 2 that ties in the blue and white and causes that contrast so you can see the design. And then the number 3 is this beautiful blue that's going to go here. So there's so much interest in these fabrics, even though there's not a lot of, it's not a novelty print. It's just a gorgeous
It's
print.
a gorgeous print. The colors are so rich.
Yeah, I really like this one. I like the way this one turned out. The name of this kit is Let Freedom Ring. It's 8023175. This is the Valor pattern from the book, Make It Patriotic, and an alternate pattern would be Courtyard.
What a fun book full of patterns. Let us know what your favorite is. We'd love to hear.
And get this book free when you buy 3 kits and skip the little pattern. You're going to love that deal.
Yes, it's Fran Morgan.
And Donna Robertson, thanks for joining us.